Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this special Sunday Council of Miniature Painters edition of the Monster Den. I hope you all had a great Sunday. Hope you got some hobbying done this weekend. I know I did. I didn't take any naps this weekend, so I had extra time, so felt good. It felt good to be productive. So got some hobbying done, got some 3D printing done, got some other stuff, sticker packing and other things done. So, you know, hey, it always good. It always makes you feel good when you get some things done, and your mind wants to keep it going. You know, you want to keep it going, you want to keep hobbying, you want to keep doing what you're doing. Therefore, the couch doesn't beckon as much as it tends to do sometimes. Right, Otis? Yeah. Otis, the couch always beckons for Otis. Because that's all he does. Such a couch. Sleeps, eats, craps. That's about it. So, anyhow, so... so Danger Gerbil is here. Doing well, Danger Gerbil. So, without further ado, we're going to jump right into the Council of Miniature Painters. So, why don't you grab a brush, a miniature, and some paints, and join the Council of Miniature Painters, Otis and I, here for a night of hobbying and discussing various hobby topics. So let's get going into the council. All right. Hello, council.
Hello.
All right. Blades is here.
Good, you can hear me this time.
Yes, we can actually hear you very well, Blades. That's
good.
That's
Wait,
did you get a new microphone or something, or?
No, I'm just really loud.
Okay, you're just really loud.
Is it too loud?
She plugged in her microphone.
She actually plugged in the microphone. Okay.
Am I too loud?
No, it's perfect. So,
okay.
All right. So, anyhow, we have right now in the group, we have James Wapple, the Emperor himself.
Hello.
We have Painterly Git. We have Blades 81, Black Skull, and RMPrintable, Mark from RMPrintable.
Hey guys, how we doing?
And in the lobby here, we have Goobertown Hobbies. Brent, you can click the button that says speak on stage to join us here in the group. I don't know if I can bring you in.
I think he's just getting popcorn and some Raisinets.
I'm trying to see, can I bring somebody up into this? Focus this person. You'd figure I'd be able to do that as a mod. I can do everything. I can kick him, I can time out, I can ban him, I can do everything except for bring him up to the stage automatically.
So you can't force him to talk.
No. Doesn't look like I can. Oh, wait, no. No, I can't do it. I can't force somebody up onto the stage. I had to open it up on the phone, the laptop. And we got Black Skull. See, once I find the browser tab with Discord, I will press that button. Okay, Brent. Brent's looking for the tab. You got too many tabs. You're not a member of the Clean Windows Club. The Clean Windows Club. I get after all my users at work for doing that, you know. So they got too many windows open. They can't find anything. And then they call the help desk. Say, I can't find something. Then each window is many, many tabs. It's in oh, you must be loading it in Discord versus the Discord app. But we see you here. I just wish I could bring you up onto the stage automatically here. Let's see. Still trying to figure that out. Focus this person. Can't click. Huh. You'd figure I'd be able to do that. See, he just raised his hand. Let's see. Wait, mod view. Nope. He'll figure it out. There he is. He figured it
I
out.
pressed the other button.
He found.
Well, I raised my hand. I figured maybe I raised my hand. You come and get me, but no, that wasn't it.
If only it was that easy.
Yeah.
You know, there are all these.
How we all doing?
There's all these mod commands, and there isn't a command to say bring this person up on the stage. Figure that out. You know. Oh well. Doing.
Oh, well.
That'd be too easy, right?
Yeah, that would be too easy. Would be too easy. We always get all these wonderful features that allow us to buy stuff, but to do actually something useful, forbid. Anyhow.
You know, I don't care about you kind of, you know, spitting on the Discord, you know, marketing model.
The Discord marketing, they give it away for free mostly. I mean, yeah, you can subscribe, but really, what does it get you? I've looked at Nitro before. It's like, okay, what am I gaining from this? I don't know. Anyhow, so Brent has now joined us from Goobertown Hobbies on the stage. So welcome, Brent. We already. Otis, you're just gonna bug the heck out of me until I'm gonna give him his special treat now, because otherwise he's just gonna bug the crap out of me. Anywho, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go through and find out what y'all been working on, what y'all been hobbying. That is always the first thing we do on each Council of Miniature Painters. So welcome in everybody coming into the stream tonight. We have two special guests with us tonight. We have Mark from RMPrintable and we have Brent from Goobertown Hobbies. We're going to be talking about some pretty cool stuff tonight. So Bench Guy, how you doing? Dig Batty. So let us start. I'm going to start in the upper left corner with Mr. Wapple. What have you been doing? I see you're painting something right there.
Yep, actually, this is going to be part of the RMPrintable campaign, and of course, Mark can talk all about that when he gets on the stage there. This is one of the regular houses right here, so I've got the main floor, there's your roof, and it's got all the wonderful little horsies right there, and you'll be watching me paint this. I actually have a couple of other ones prepped and ready to go. It's been all terrain this week because, well, since it's almost Adepticon says, oh yeah, Jim, we need you to paint a whole bunch of Marvel Crisis Protocol terrain. So I've painted two of these things on stream. And actually been trying out some new oil paints. These are Alkyd oil paints. They're from Paul Rubens. Nice thing is you can get them on Amazon. They tend to show up about 8 hours after you place your order. And they've got everything, including a line of fluorescents, and that was one of the things we were trying out here on the last couple of streams, was trying out the new fluorescents from them. And they're actually, for the price, for the availability, they're really nifty. The biggest downside is that they're, if you run out of a color, you have to buy all of them. But the average person and their kids and their grandkids probably wouldn't go through any one of the colors. So I don't think you really have to worry about that too much. We've been continuing the giant bust quests printed in FDM. So same printer, not quite the same settings. This was 0.08 layer height. This was the usual 0.2, but the same black matte PLA, the same 0.4 nozzle. Only difference was layer height. Oh, and I think I did adaptive layers. So we've been doing a bunch of these. I don't think people had a chance to see the fact that we did, I think you guys saw this maybe, but then we also did the resin miniature as well. So it's kind of fun to see them both side by side, the bust and the miniature. Painted both of those on stream. And we've been going pretty heavy into the Trench Crusade stuff. I actually started another video series. So this vehicle right here is going to have just a little touch of freehand. I mean, just a little bit. Nothing special. Just a little bit of freehand. I'm not sure if I've got any of my scenes here that you might be able to... Oh, I think... let me see what we got here. There we go. So we've been making use of AI, doing lots of imagery here. And I think we got somewhere it was for the vehicle. Yeah, here we go. There you go. So we've been, again, playing around with the AI, trying to say, okay, what would it look like on the side of a vehicle? And while none of it is exactly what you need, these were some really nice ideas. So you can see all the kind of the filigree and such that these had. That was, you can see that kind of ended up on this vehicle here. So there's been a lot more experimentation with the AI. That's been super fun. Oh, gosh, we did some of these on stream. These crazy orc cruises. We'll be doing more of these on Monday. So tomorrow on Armada Mondays, we'll be doing more of those guys. Also been trying to work on Resin Beast stuff. As it turns out, this will be going into Resin Beast, along with some other Creature Caster figs. Actually, this one we painted on stream, so that'll be going in to the Resin Beast. And then I've got a bust and another figure that I'm doing as part of a tutorial series. I think we're 4 episodes in. I think later tonight I'll be filming episode 5, and all that stuff will be brought up to Adepticon. So it's the usual. We're not doing a whole bunch of anything. Oh, also, and speaking of Adepticon, we have been working really hard. We got a whole passel of stickers. We've got oh yeah, and these have now been turned into STL files. The Lord of the Rings themed gummy bears.
Oh my
They
goodness.
now exist. So yes,
Wow.
they do exist. There's our Gimli gummy bear. Let's see, we already have Gollum. So that one's already been done. And we have this one now. And we also have Sauron. So those have also been done. And again, we got a whole bunch more stickers that we're going to be having there. And actually this is a design that Kathy did. At the time, that you just didn't have the choices for, like places that make poker chips. And I've got 2 different poker chips that we're going to have there. So again, it's been, not a whole lot going on here at all for the last month,
Wow.
like usual.
Wow. Pretty impressive. That's a serious amount of impressive stuff that you're working on there, Jim. Amazing.
That's a dang good list.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hard to follow that list up, but we got to do it anyway. So does anybody dare try to follow up that list?
Yeah. If you want me to follow up, I think I can follow up on that one.
Sure, Mark. Why don't you join on in and follow up? What have you been working on?
All right, sounds like a plan to me. I'm not too great with the camera, but I can definitely show you a little bit about what I've been working on over here. As you might know, I've been working a little bit on a Kickstarter campaign. It's coming out pretty soon. It's called Valley of the Horse Lords. One of the things that's kind of unique for us, though, is that we do all the printing and test printing in-house, or I do it all, and I do all of the painting as well. Kind of to show off what not that the average person can kind of do with their own resources here. Wapple can crush them and knock them out of the park, but what can the average kind of person do? So I can take us the camera here on a little bit of adventure. You can see my really messy studio here. Is there a way to flip the camera around? What do you think? Or is it just kind of really close? So maybe I can time it so it works out. Ooh, does it work? There we go. I can show you that. I'm going to have to do it slowly here. So we've got, oh man, I'm way worse than Wapple. We've got a million different accessories that I'm working on. So bags, boxes, towers. We've got palisade walls. We have farmer crops over here. I might be a little slow on the delay there, but that's okay. That's that side. Over on this table, we've got towers, we've got farms, we've got stables, we've got manor halls. We've got photos section over here. We're working on more accessories and painting. I've got a lot of painting to do over the next 2 weeks. We've got the primer booth all set up. There's a little bit of a camera delay there. Trying to do my best here. We've got the primer booth set up with palisade walls. They are completely supportless. So pretty amazing. They've got multi-levels. And then I have another section of my desk. This section's probably the worst section here. Oh, chair's in the way now. Sorry about that. I've got ladders. I've got more walls. I've got gates. I've got furniture. All in all, I think I've got a couple hundred pieces that I need to work on. yeah, it got out of control really, really fast. But that's always seems to be what happens over here at RM. Projects just keep growing and growing and growing until they get way too hard to manage. I think I've spent 7 hours doing airbrush priming just to get priming done, and I'm still not done. So
And then
I got a
someone
lot
asked you
over
to do
here.
Megicilled,
Sorry?
and then someone asked you to do Megicilled. I don't know who that person is.
Did I do what?
Theoden's Palace.
Oh, the big one. A couple people have been asking me about that. The Golden Hall, right?
Mhm.
So the Golden Hall is something that's a special piece, obviously. So we didn't start off with it. We are working on it. I don't want to give away too much. One of the big things is how do you take the size of that and kind of get it to the playability for the tabletop? So I've seen some of the other ones that people have designed. I've seen some of the stuff that they've released from the movies for that. We're doing a version of it that's kind of similar, but has a lot more space and a lot more playability. One of the things the Great Hall has, if you've seen it, is it's really, really wide in comparison. So we're not going to go that wide because it just kills your table. The ones that, like, realistically, if you scale it down, like you're looking at over, like, easily over 700, um, probably over 700 centimeters long by probably 400 or 500 centimeters. No, well, millimeters wide. So, like, it's just too big. So we're going to do something similar, but it's not going to be as big. And the main hall inside, we're going to make the inside playable area larger, and then we'll still have the throne room and stuff. But that'll come later. And we're also going to do some doors with that are actually movable doors. So instead of having no doors or fake doors, we'll actually have ones that swing open for people. Yeah, it's a lot. That's for sure. A lot's going on over here. Yeah.
Well, I haven't been up to too much hobbying, especially following the last two gentlemen. I've painted a Stormcast Eternal. Did some OSL. I've been practicing painting some miniatures as quick as I can with a 50-minute time limit for speed paint that's coming up. Blades and I had organized and ran a paint and take today at the friendly local game store. We were painting leprechauns. I just shared the link to mine in chat, and been practicing some freehand on a pauldron-esque piece of plastic, and working on my entry for the story/diorama contest at Maple Palette.
Oh.
Well, the main reason why we do it is we hate new miniature painters, and we want to eradicate them by making them into veteran miniature painters.
That is
For
definitely
real, that's
a
awesome,
unique
though.
perspective.
Hey Tony, how you
That's
doing?
awesome.
Well, I haven't been as busy as Jim or Mark, but yeah, so I'm gonna fall short here. I have a bunch of Space Marines that I've been practicing different techniques, different colors, different styles on. So I painted one. I kit bashed it and painted it like Buzz Lightyear, which was fun. That's on my Instagram. I can't show it on my webcam because it's too dark. And I painted that classic beholder. So that was a lot of fun. Just doing some odds and ends. Did the paint and take day today. Painted a leprechaun. Worked on my pile of shame a little bit more. Nothing too exciting.
Oh, that's exciting enough. Whenever you achieve something with your pile of shame, that is a positive hobby moment, no doubt.
It feels so good to do that, and I'm really looking forward to painting this this terrain from RMPrintable. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Excellent. So, and let me say, Blades, the stuff that you've been posting lately, you know, you've improved so much over the past few months.
Aww.
So, and you know, it really shows the effort, you know, and the time that you're putting into it, because everything you seem to post is, you know, getting better and better. So keep it up.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Look at chat, Ed.
Look at chat. Yeah, I unmuted. We should be good. You guys can hear me now, right? Shows it going out.
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. You hear me through Discord, but are they hearing me through stream? They should be. Yep, okay, yeah. That I had fixed it already. It was an old chat. So, we're all good. Okay, let's move on to we're going to move on to let's see. Next, it just shifted. Brent, what have you been working on? Gosh, what haven't you been working on?
My turn?
Yeah, it's your turn. Go for it.
All right. So we are in the lag period right now between Gamma and Adepticon. So 2 weeks ago, I did go to Game Manufacturer Association something or other, which is it's in Kentucky. It's in Louisville for now, and essentially that's the meeting where game companies try to sell local game store owners racks of paint or the next Catan expansion or whatever it is they're selling people. But really neat convention to just talk to a lot of game developers and stuff like that. And so, I don't know, at this one, maybe the most interesting thing I saw is that Steamforged, having acquired War Machine, is starting to turn those kits into hard plastic, like Hips War Machine kits. And so got to see some of those new sprues, and I thought the coolest thing they were doing there is that it's not just a 2-piece mold that they're using for polystyrene, it's a 4-piece mold. And so the big thing that allows them to do is kind of get some undercut pieces onto the sprues, including like the big cannons and stuff. So the sprues have some of the big cannons for the mechs facing outwards on the side of the frame, and parts of the mold can come in from the side and make those little pre-drilled gun barrels actually work correctly. So anyway,
Something about that.
Yeah. So the new plastic war jacks, you have some big old cannons sticking off their arm, and the cannon is a single piece, but you don't have to drill the barrel. It's not like normal tank where you have 2 big pieces coming together and there's an obvious seam line down the main barrel of the model or whatever. But I don't know. It's just Gamma's in some ways like a much quieter convention because there aren't all of the ordinary shoppers there. It is, you know, an industry get together, but I enjoy it. Lots of little tidbits. Cool to see things from a slightly different angle. And then got back home, and I did immediately order those that War Machine starter kit, and so I've been putting those together. But other than that, my big thing is stamps. I've been a YouTuber for 6 years now, and I haven't really found the thing that I need to sell to people to make some dang money with this. So anyway, a couple of years ago, finally had a good idea for monetizing the internet here, monetizing what it is that I do, and it is stamps for miniatures. So this is an alternative to using decals or stencils or something, or actually knowing how to do freehand. You can use stamps instead, and the specific tech is totally not just straight from nail stamping in the cosmetics industry. Definitely not very, very, very similar to that at all. But instead of stamping little butterflies and stuff onto your fingernails, you can be stamping skulls onto shields and shoulder pads, and just kind of a cool way of doing like squad markings or heraldry on a knight shield or something like that. So yeah, the name of the company is Goblin Hobbies. It's a partnership between me and Casey, who's the guy who runs eBay Miniature Rescues, that YouTube channel. And we had the idea to try to make stamps for miniatures years ago. And if you're thinking like, all right, if you're trying to do a Space Marine shoulder pad and you want to get a gauntleted fist as an icon on there or something like that, maybe if you could like 3D print a stamp or something like that. We couldn't really figure it out. But then I was just hanging out in a hobby chat, and one of the people in the chat wasn't painting a miniature. She was doing her nails, and she was talking about these stamps she was using. And wait a second, tell me more about those. And it turns out that there's this process called pad printing that works quite well, where you have maybe you can turn on my camera for a second here. I don't know if this will work or not, but yeah, here I am. Okay. So I'm gonna hold a few bits up to the screen, but the main event here is an etched piece of steel, and on the steel there's little patterns that you might want to have. So this is, I grabbed the runic plate. So this has Viking stuff and Celtic runes and wolves and stuff like that. But anyway, the idea is you take the special paint, which is totally not just special nail polish that's been specifically designed for stamping applications, and you fill in the etched design with a little bit of the paint and scrape away the excess, and then you come in with a silicone stamper pad. So this is just a soft silicone bulb at the end of this tool here. And you can come in, pick up the design off the plate, and then stamp the miniature, put the wolf on the shield or whatever it is that you're doing. So as a side background secret project, this has been going on for about 2 years now, getting Goblin Hobbies up and running. And we announced it to the world about 2 weeks ago, and it's looking like we'll be for sale right after Adepticon, I think. So not hobby in the traditional sense, but very busy with hobby activities. Putting stamps together, being the business goober over here.
All right, we'll talk a little bit more about that too here in a little bit. So,
okay,
yeah, we'll talk some more about it. So, so stick around. I'd like to hear more. So,
I'll be here.
So think of some more things you want to talk about with that. So, because that's a really exciting project. We're gonna move on to Black Skull. Black Skull, what have you been working on?
Yeah. Well, I got my courage back up last night and continued work on my Resin Beast project for Alice Assassin I did from Elwich Foundry. Went back in, did some oil washes and tightened up some things. I'm going to have to redo the assault rifle completely so that it kind of is a little bit more in line with what's going on there. But it's still there, and I'm just about done. I even did the potion thing. I've been watching YouTubes all over the place, getting different perspectives on how to do potion bottles and things, and I think I got it. So I'm feeling better now. On the other side, I found a couple weeks ago I was rooting around for something, and in a box in my studio, way in the back of a cabinet, I found an old Raoul Partha heavy 50 million pound metric ton griffin that I painted back in '87. So I stripped it all down, made sure the wings were still attached, and I'm doing it completely in oils right now. So I'm kind of working on that and getting a better perspective. And then, this morning, I went to breakfast with some of my gaming friends, and one of the guys that's got a 3D printer, he got me a set of the D&D TV show cartoon miniatures, all the chibi sets. So I just got these, so I'm going to start to prep them up. I may take some with me to Adepticon. Otherwise, I'm getting ready for Adepticon. I'm kind of figuring out what I'm going to take and what I'm not going to take, and kind of looking forward to it. So that's what I got.
All right, sounds good. All right, let's see. Who do we got next? Why don't we do, let's see, who else is in stage? Oh, Tony. Tony's already up on the stage, so we'll do Tony, and then let's see, we got a couple of new people who are here in the audience. We've got Falling Freely, and looks like Heavy T is here too. So Falling Freely, you're on deck. So Tony, what have you been up to? Okay, Tony. Can't hear you, Tony.
Tony's shy.
I am muted.
He's shy. Tony's shy? Wait.
Yeah, I'm shy. I was being all responsible and whatnot and trying to be considerate and muting myself. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
All right. The last month has been all about Adepticon prep. This year's Paint and Pass, I got more ambitious and tried more things than I think new things in one project than I've ever tried before. But literally just like an hour ago, I wrapped up my own stream where things are finally coming together and I'm feeling comfortable. I expect all of you who are at Adepticon to come by the second annual Kathy Wapple Memorial Charity Paint and Pass. We're doing another diorama, just like last year, but this year is going to be the Bridge of Khazad-dûm. So we're doing the Balrog versus the Fellowship. We're doing all the members of the Fellowship. We're doing the Balrog, and I went ahead and lit the whole thing with LEDs. So the Balrog's fire lights up. Gandalf's staff is going to light up. It's been freaking me out because I haven't known how I was going to accomplish what I hoped. But literally, I am wrapping today. Hopefully by Tuesday, I can start priming everything. I have a few more things to do, but I'm hoping Tuesday I can get the main pieces primed, and we'll be ready to go. I'm so looking forward to this year's show.
Oh, gonna be great. Yeah, everybody's in the middle of Adepticon prep. Awesome.
Yeah, between that and the other thing that's been heavy for me is Dragonfall. We are launching badges this week. This is earlier than we have ever launched badges for Dragonfall. So, and then we've got the party that we're doing at Adepticon on Friday night. So getting prepped for all of that it's been a busy month.
Yeah. We'll talk. I'm gonna write that down as a note. We're gonna talk about I want to talk about that party a little more here a little later. I'm gonna write that down. So for all those who come into Adepticon, about put that as a note. And all right,
I've
sounds
got a
good.
weak battery here. I'm gonna switch on my camera here for a sec.
One quick little thing about Adepticon, just a little programming note there. People should be aware that not only are you going to have, it's either going to be second, third round of the NCAAs that weekend, that your Milwaukee Bucks have not won but 2 home games. That would be Saturday, I think Saturday and Sunday. So,
I was going to look that up too.
yep, you might want to be thinking about that also. All of those restaurants that are supposed to be close by, well, guess what? There's going to be 20 some odd thousand of your best friends looking to get into those places too on those 2 days.
And what night are the Bucks in town?
I think it's Saturday, Sunday. I don't think
Okay.
it's Friday. It could be Friday, Saturday, but I think it was Saturday, Sunday. So that's just something that people want to be aware of if anybody's ever been to Gen Con when the Colts used to have preseason games there.
That was always fun and interesting.
Yeah, that's
So,
good.
You can
That's
see
good
what
to
I've
know.
done with the Balrog here. If you look on the Discord. Now, the power source I'm using here is a little less powerful. This is a 3-volt source, and it's half dead. I'm going to be using a 5-volt plug-in source. So
You're going all out. My goodness, Tony. That's awesome.
I'm trying. And then the one that absolutely blows my mind that I was able to do this is this little sucker. And don't ask me how I pulled this off because there was a lot of cursing involved. But
They're
take
always.
a look here. Come here. You guys see that?
Yep.
Oh yeah. That's what we're going to be working on. And Jim, this is your project right here.
That was this figure, right, Tony?
Yes.
That's that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
thought
metal
so.
one. It's the metal one from what 2003?
Yep, had to be almost original Fellowship there. Yep.
Yeah. Now the funny thing is, I bought it pre-painted, and so I'm like, well, I'll strip some metal mini. I'll strip it down so we can repaint it as part of this thing. And I wanted to put the LED on it, so I threw it in some acetone, and I found out that whoever owned this before me had used a plastic hand for the sword arm. So that was fun.
Right.
But that's it for me.
All right. Falling Freely is here. How you doing, Freely? What do you got? What do you got going on?
Doing good. I just been working on my resin beast entry, so I was trying to hook up my other camera, but I just have this one on Discord. So here she is so far.
Is that
Of course, the lighting's gonna be bad.
a loot piece from fantasy or sci-fi? I think it's fantasy.
Loot Studios Fantasy.
Okay, fantasy.
Yeah. So first time attempting an iridescent metal effect.
Very cool.
Yeah.
When I saw it on your stream the other day, I was like, your command of doing all those great color combinations like that are really fun. I wish I could do that. I'm not good at that. So.
I think you could.
Yeah.
I'd just like to complain for a moment. I'm like the only person not going to Adepticon. The jealousy over here is out of control, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh no.
No. I'm
Everybody's
sorry.
going on me. What a rip.
Well, you'll be there in
And
spirit.
Wiley wants to say hi too.
Oh, he's Wiley.
I'm not going either, Mark, so you're not the only person in the world who's not going.
I'm
Yeah,
not a person, but I'm also not going.
yeah. Unfortunately,
All right, well, thank goodness then. Thanks, everybody.
Blades and Painterly get the people that have been going since what? How you guys went 2 or 3 years in a row? Blades and
2 years.
2 years.
2 years in a row. So unfortunately, we will miss. They will be missed. Didn't notice.
Oh, Quantum's not gonna make it this year either.
And Quantum's
dang.
not making it either. So it's difficult to go to a show like that every year.
Yeah.
We have it good freely because we were close to Chicago. We're obviously I'm closer to Milwaukee. It's about the same for you, but
About the same, yeah.
you know, but it's
But within driving distance,
when
yeah.
it's in your backyard, it's definitely a great thing to have. So
Yeah.
right. So let's see, who is a Heavy T? Heavy T, what have you been hobbying
Yeah,
this
I have a quick
last
one.
month?
This last month, Star Wars Legion. I was gifted a bunch of Star Wars Legion minis, and I've just been painting those, and I just finished them up. I finished about 40 Ewoks, Rebel Troopers, AT-ST Walker, and Leia, and all that. That was a lot of fun. I cannot wait to do more of that. So when I get that was all gifted to me. I haven't spent 1 cent on it, and I've got about $500 worth of painted stuff now.
Wow,
So
nice. Are
I
you
think
gonna
they want me to get into it.
are
I
you gonna
think.
actually play the game? Yeah, is that the goal?
Yes. Yes,
Nice.
I'm gonna dive into it. And I think there's new minis coming out and new like sets coming out for the game. So like the people at the game store that helped me out with it were like telling me this is a good time to get into it. And so I haven't made any purchases. I'm gonna wait for the summer or whenever I think it comes out. But like that I'm about to jump into. I'm so excited for it. But yeah, that's what I've been that's all I've really been doing recently. Yeah.
Hey,
Excellent.
reach out to me on Discord. I've got a bunch of Legion stuff that I'm looking to get rid of cheap.
Okay.
Most of it painted. If there's anything you're looking for, let me know.
Copy that. I will.
Excellent. Excellent.
Thank
Okay. Oh, we got a couple new people that have jumped in here. Dig Batty has joined us in the audience. Dig, do you want to jump in and say what you've been working on? Boy, the council is growing. Anybody else? Before we move on to our main event, our main events. Okay.
I think that Heavy T forgot about 19 tanks that he painted as well.
Oh, yeah,
Tanks?
a bunch of Flames of War scale tanks. I think they're like 1/100th scale. I painted a bunch of them. Yeah, I did forget about that. I've been painting a lot.
Well, that's good, right? You know?
Yes,
Keep
yes,
going.
it is. I'm very blessed.
Yeah, keep going, keeps your mind fresh, keep working on stuff. That's
So
awesome. Right. All right. So let's jump back over to Mark over at RMPrintable, and let's talk about this Kickstarter, and just why don't you give us an idea, Mark, about how long have you been doing this? What kind of road did you go down for this to get to where you are today? Just give us kind of a history and tell us about the project that's coming up.
Yeah, you want like a story, like right from the very beginning?
Well, yeah. Well, obviously we don't want when the dinosaurs will roam the earth or anything, but yeah.
That's the best part.
So yeah.
So I started. I'll start way back at the beginning because I love the beginning of the story here. Long time ago, like 7, 8, 9, like that's how far back. Love the hobby, love Bretonians, and my niche was really kind of building terrain. That's where I loved and kind of started. So went down literally to like the reuse center to get a door and started building tables out of paper mache, and like my first hobby shelf was reclaimed barn wood that I found out back and put together with the deck screws, and it's literally way out like the light bulb hanging from the roof with the pull string that you got to do to paint the minis, and the testers paint, like way back when is where we started. And but I'll fast forward a little bit. Fast forward a little while longer. Armies on Parades came. Wanted to do kind of a dwarf display for that. Dwarves I've played for 25 years for Warhammer Fantasy, and really kind of set my sights on winning Armies on Parade. So I built a dwarf display that was 3.5 feet tall by 2 feet wide by 2 feet wide, and it had the underground and the piles of gold and the lights, the LEDs, and you name it. But the one problem was the gold coins, and I punched over 100,000 gold coins. It got so ridiculous that I started counting because it was just like every sheet I could do, how many did I need? And it was 100,000 coins. And it was like hours and hours and hours of coins. It took forever. And I was like, I can't sustain doing this forever. And then I built a table for Mordheim. Mordheim, actually, it was, no, it wasn't Mordheim. It was for Frostgrave. And I did all the bricks by hand, every single styrofoam block. If you've ever played fantasy games, you know it starts with the styrofoam blocks to make your homes and your two-door homes. And again, I just, when you have a family and you have life calling on you now, like it takes too long. So I went to find different avenues, and then it was 3D printing. So I hooked up with some designers. I hooked up with some concept artists, and that's when RMPrintable was found. It was just kind of found to save that time, but not to sacrifice what you're playing on. So I don't know if you, I've been around a long time, but if you remember, GW used to say, oh, just put some books under the mat, right? And just grab things around the house, the pop cans and stuff. Like I found, yeah, that's a quick answer, but it takes away so much of the scenery and so much of the terrain. So by going to 3D printing, what that allowed me to do was design things that looked great, but you didn't have to put the time into it to sculpt it and make it. You could hit print. So if you see the thing Wapple's working on right now, he's got the screen kind of folded up, doing an excellent job, but it's got the windows that you used to make by hand, the boards that you used to have to sculpt by hand, the base. I could remember doing the styrofoam and sculpting all the styrofoam out, right? But the difference is now you can put your time into your armies, or you can put your time into the painting instead of into the sculpting. So you're kind of trading, and that you can just kind of print at night. So that's really kind of why we started, or why I started the company. It's because I was running out of time to build the scenery, but I still love the scenery. So the new campaign that's coming up, so this will be our 9th campaign. We started out doing ruins because there wasn't a lot of 3D printable ruins that started out. And then I kind of did more fantasy, and then I went to sci-fi, and then I went to all sorts of different places all over the map. But the big goal was kind of scenery. So this one is all about sort of Anglo-Saxon kind of, oh yeah, Dwapple's showing you some of his incredible things that we've sculpted. That was one of our troll shamans that he's got out there. He's also got a 2-headed Etin over there that he, I think he just absolutely blew out of the park. We did the stone trolls. Like, we've done a lot of great things, I think. But this one focuses more on kind of the fantasy, more on the Anglo-Saxon kind of Rohan kind of inspired type scenery. And it's all the things that kind of really bring the table to life. Like, I don't know, I find buildings are very static. And in a lot of companies, they're kind of just like, here's your building. But it doesn't look lived in. Like, it doesn't look like people are actually on the table unless you use another company's kind of miniatures that show you that they're there. So this one really focused on the little things that bring a town together. So we've got a bunch of homes, we've got towers, we've got, I saw somebody's working on like wattle fencing there. We've got the simple fencing, we've got palisades, we've got stone walls. It's almost, if you ever played Age of Empires, I almost kind of followed that sort of theme where you start off small and you work a little bigger, and then you work a little bigger. You kind of advance through your technology. I don't know if anybody ever played Civ 4. I kind of followed that model. So you have the little wall, then you have the slightly bigger wall, and then you have the really big wall. And we just kind of went from there. We tried to do there's wagons, there's carts, there's hay bundles, there's like hay that's still out in the field. Like, I just really wanted to put something on the table and people go, oh wow, that's neat. And the more you look at it, the more like you see the little things. Right. So I have log benches for people, like different pieces of scenery. Well, I see somebody's working on one of the hay stalls. Like, we've got the farmer stalls, we've got different types that are all, I'll see if I can turn my camera back on. We've got a little bit of a lag there, so, but
I was just showing the blacksmith shop.
yeah, we got blacksmiths. It's just my projects seem to get kind of out of control. It happens all the time. So we've got like crops. I can show it here. I think I got a little bit of a delay, but that's okay. But the other thing too is that I'm printer and a hobbyist first. Like I've done painting forever. Like I don't want to waste a lot of stuff. So a lot of people do. Well, let's see. Now I can see myself. So like these are all a little hard to see on the camera, but these are all actually supportless. So you don't waste any materials while you're printing them. A little low there. Can I get a little higher? Nope, not really here. Well, so these are actually all supportless. So you can print them in FDM. And when you print them in FDM, like your cost goes way down. So it's the same thing with the barrels and the same thing with the bags. Like if you can get it not to be super expensive and not to waste a lot of that, that's my other goal. Like there's some fantastic terrain companies out there that do some amazing stuff, but it all needs supports or it all needs like to be finicky or to like play with it. And I'm not going to put people under the bus, but I supported Kickstarters in the past where you put it on the printer plate and you're just like, I can't do this. It's more hassle than it's actually worth. And I've actually been some Kickstarters, and I don't want anybody to ever have to go through that for our Kickstarters. So all of the scenery is all supportless. We've cut some things up to make it easier to print. Wapple was saying some of them, when they get closer to the edge, he's found a brim works really well. So even when we run the campaign, like I'll put that in the notes. Like, yes, it'll print supportless, but yeah, some things you might want to add a brim just to get that perfect print right off the gate. But yeah, that's really it's getting out of control, and I love it. A lot of people have said that they really like the new War of the Rohirrim movie, and they've said like, hey, we want to see these buildings in ruins. My original campaign didn't have any plans for ruins, but with enough people, almost, what do we have, 14 stretch goals now that are all going to be the different things in ruins, plus more accessories for nighttime battles. Wapple crushes the OSL. I don't know if anybody's ever seen some of his glowing things, but we've made sure to add lanterns to door. We're adding braziers so you can have fire. If you've watched the movies, some of them have like the elevated braziers that are on the sticks. We're getting those made. The Great Hall has big sets of fires, indoor fire, outdoor fire, like just like fun things to paint. Because like I said, I'm a hobbyist first. All these little details I think are really what kind of makes scenery come to life. But yeah, I could talk about it forever, but I don't want to take the channel for
No,
for too long.
it does. You're right. It does make the scenery come to life, and then the scenery makes the game come to life.
Yeah, and I've said that forever, right? Like it's you play games and yeah, like you roll the dice, you have a good time, like there's some memorable moments. But I can tell you all the way back to different games that I've had at different places with the scenery. Again, I'll show my age. There was a game with the Truthsayer and with the like it's just you just remember those when your gyrocopter hid behind something and popped out and got that last kill on the last wound on the general that you needed, or you actually have scenery that is sizable enough to actually hide some of your big things for fantasy gaming. Like in 40K now, they've got the set rules of like building heights, so like for sure you'll see it. But for fantasy gaming, there's not always those. So before we did this campaign, we did a different campaign called Battlefields. Battlefields was 6 different biomes of scenery that touched base on your different heights of terrain. So you'd have like low level terrain, medium level terrain, and high level terrain that was actually high enough to hide dragons behind. So this is kind of the next step. So this is to add like civilizations to those different worlds. So this is where we're starting. This is the classic battlefield civilization. So we've got the Valley of the Horse Lords, and yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. I got lots of painting to do and lots of stuff to show off, and hopefully lots of people will enjoy what we've got.
I mean, if you think about it, when you go to a show like Adepticon or in any of the big shows, it's you're pulled in first by the scenery, and I was saying earlier before we started, it's like you take that starter set home and it's not the same, because you take that starter set home, you paint the minis, and then you go, wait, I don't have any terrain. This isn't as cool. And you got to have that terrain. Really adds to the immersion. I think it adds to the gameplay, and it's there are more companies who are starting to include like basic terrain in some of their starter boxes, because it is a very important piece to playing any of the games. I mean, is Marvel Crisis Protocol as fun without the terrain? No, or is any game as fun without the terrain? So, terrain is really where it's at, and having all the different themes, anything from Old West to what you're working on here, the Horse Lords, the Nordic style. It's nice to have different themes. I actually chose to print out and paint the hay stall and the farm, because I'm going to use these in Moonstone.
Oh, Moonstone, that was such a great Kickstarter when that one came out too.
Yeah,
Love it.
I'm gonna use these for Moonstone because they go great, with different games. Even the well, I think the well would go really well with Moonstone. Some of the other pieces that are in the set, and it's fun to have those themes, whether it's for D&D, whether it's for tabletop gaming. It's a blast. It's a blast.
Brent was saying something about Saga. I don't know anything about that game, but he said like that's right up Saga's alley. SAGA. I might be saying it wrong.
There's so many games.
We have a question in chat. Sorry
Yeah.
for interrupting. Miar Azabal wants to know: is this the last chance to get in on the Kickstarter?
The Kickstarter hasn't even launched yet, so there's lots of time to get in on it. To be honest, hasn't even started. We're gonna start it. I am launching it on the 27th or the 28th, probably the 28th, to be honest, that Friday there. So not this week, but next week we're gonna launch, because I got too much to paint.
and based on what I'm seeing, you have a lot of the models done already.
Yeah, so that's another. Again, you practice what you preach, right? One of my biggest pet peeves is you sign up for a Kickstarter and you're waiting 6 months to get most of the core set from some companies. Or I supported one, I think it took 3.5 years to get all of the STLs out. So before this launches, the whole core set will be done, and test printed and painted, hopefully, if I can get my ass in the gear here. And a lot of the stretch goals will be done already in advance as well, to be honest, because people want it. People are excited to get onto those things. You don't want to wait forever and lose that hobby mojo. That kind of, you get down, you sit, and you get going. You don't want to be like, oh, I need that last piece, right?
Yeah.
And then, so I don't want people to have to wait. So we're working on it.
So then stretch goals are probably going to be the only thing that'll come later then, right?
Right now, depending on what we've got left for stretch goals, I might even be able to have most of them done when Kickstarter releases funds.
Wow.
That's where.
So you said the Kickstarter is going to be starting soon, and when are you expecting delivery?
So if you've ever supported a Kickstarter in the past, Kickstarter usually runs. Different people do different times. I usually like to do 4 weeks. I don't do the whole month. Sometimes I do 3 weeks. Sometimes I do the 28 days. I'll just take a look at what day it ends on. So if we launch in 2 weeks and you wait the 4, then it usually takes, after that, Kickstarter has like a back end. They wait and they keep charging people until it actually goes through for 7 days. And then it usually takes like 5 to 7 days again to send out the money. So like it's usually like 10 to 12 days after it ends before the funds all exchange. And then my mini factory is where we usually host all the files. It takes a couple days on their end, but I've learned how to do it sometimes a little bit faster to get people their files. So from start to finish, how long will it take for delivery? It would probably be about 6 weeks, 7 weeks from today to get all the files.
That's still the fastest Kickstarter I've ever seen, but it's
it hustles. I've learned a couple tricks. Obviously, this is not my first one. There's a couple ways to get people's files out before the back end is all done, which is nice. And then when the back end's done, it just goes into a different spot on your account for My Mini Factory. I think I got it out. I think I got our last one, Battlefields 2, which was all rivers, and um, it was all waterfalls and rivers and like crossings and roads and stuff. I think I got it out to people within 12 days of the campaign being ended. Yeah, Mazar's Azabel or whatever. I think they've got the wrong link on there.
Oh. Amazing.
One sec here.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I don't know. Does anybody have any questions or anything? I can take some questions too if that helps anybody.
Does anybody have any questions for Mark? What's the RM stand for?
It's my name.
Okay.
I'm Richard Mark.
Oh, okay,
I am
okay.
that,
I'm like, wait a second. It's RM. Okay, the M is the Mark. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah, I am that. Yep, and it's printable scenery. So, and I do miniatures as well. So it's literally my name. It's printable and it's terrain and it's miniatures. So I want it to be very simple and very to the point.
That's great.
There is no confusing. What is it? It's printable stuff.
Yep, printable stuff. That's great. All right, let's see. Any questions? Are the models designed for FDM or can they be printed in resin?
So all of the models are designed for FDM to make it really easy to do. Just for sometimes FDM can be annoying. At least in my opinion. I started way back with the Ender 3 and like getting those supports and like the really fine finicky spots. And if your balance was off a little bit, it was a nightmare or you'd break supports. So this one was all designed with bamboo printer tests, right? So we used the P1P, nothing too crazy, but they were designed to print all support free and easy. I've got somebody else working on the resin pieces. In fact, I think Blades has a couple that are all printed in resin. Resin will be incredibly easy to print it. You'll be able to hit auto supports and it will be done. You won't need to do anything. You won't need it all pre-supported to print. You'll just have to have a print bed that is big enough. So all of the accessories, all of the wagons, all of the props, all of the bags, all of the actually I haven't even shared. There's a really simple, there's cut wood, so there's wood logs, there's piles of logs for getting ready for the winter, there's like logs and axes. All of that stuff will print super easy. There's tables, there's chairs, there's hay. All that stuff will be wicked easy to print on a resin printer.
Big Daddy's also asking if there's a need to hollow out, any need to hollow the models.
I hollowed this one.
So yeah, you hauled the hay. That's exactly what I was going to say. The only piece that you might want to hollow out that's that size is the hay. Because it's designed for FDM, there'll be no gaps inside the models, which again, I don't know if you've ever supported campaigns for models and leave gaps and they explode on you. I printed a whole beast army and all in resin and started painting it, and I left it for a week and they actually exploded because the company didn't look for holes in it. That was really awesome. But all these pieces are small enough or thin enough or just walls. There's no big thick pieces. The bases, if you're printing all the stone bases, like Wapple's got a camera over there that he's got a big stone base. You might want to look, if you're going to do those parts in resin, you might want to look at putting holes in those and hollowing those out. But those are literally the biggest piece, like the thickest and biggest pieces. I do the hay too. I see somebody working on hay right there.
Yep, that's me.
That's about the biggest small prop that there is. There's that hay bundle and another hay bundle. But everything else, I probably wouldn't, to be honest. At all. I don't I just the reason there's a delay is because I'm looking at everything here on all my tables, being like, what would I put holes in? There is that nobody has that other piece. The walls for the city, I would put holes in. I'll show you here. So moving around here. There are city walls. I haven't showed them yet. I haven't shared them yet. We've got the more advanced city wall. So like I talked a little bit about Civ 4. So this would be the next upgrade of wall. So it's a stone wall. with palisades on top and then stone walkway. And I've used the dragon clips again, so they clip to each other. So again, talking a little bit about gaming first, if you've ever played a lot of games with walls and wall systems and you bump them, and they bump out of place, and you're like, oh, I got to put the wall back together. All of our walls this time are coming with clips. So they're really just a single clip, not a whole lot. It's not meant to make it a super strong wall together, but it's meant to keep it together. So there's towers, there's the main gate. They all have this chunk. I don't know if anybody can see it, but they all have this chunk of stone on the bottom. So for a walkway, I would probably hollow that out too. That would be a big chunk of resin if you're printing all the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of resin.
I don't know. Can people see? I think I got to. Can somebody scroll me down there a little bit? I'll show you. I don't know if they can see me. Wapple's hogging all the screen time.
Danger Gerbil says, he says, I just realized who you were. I was an original backer of the Stormguard Kickstarter.
That is a long time ago, Danger Gerbil. That was where we started out. That was the very, very beginning. It was a long time ago. That was awesome. That was the campaign that literally started it all out. It was tons of stone ruins, and actually I found my first set. There's the stone archways, and Timu has them, so I gotta go after Timu now.
Uh-oh.
VR's asking, is all this going to be only in STLs?
Yes, all STLs only for printing at home. Yeah, I'm not going to be fabricating it, but there will be, without a doubt, people that will be selling it. We have a whole bunch of printers that work with us. We have a whole bunch of people with merchant licenses. I'm positive they'll pick them up. We've had a couple people that have printed with us from the very beginning. So I would imagine they would continue if you don't have a printer.
Thank you, Bench Guy. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, even on my mini factory, I think there's a button that you can say, I want to buy these printed or something, right? I thought they did something like that.
Oh, yeah, there is. I'm not part of that.
Okay.
But there are printers that you can literally just search up the piece of scenery you want and they come up. We've got people, if you're in the States, Panhandle is I think it's called Panhandle 3D. He is a fantastic printer for all things. He will I know he'll pick it up, and I know he'll be able to do that. But yeah, I really like supporting the little guy. He's not a little guy, he's a big person. So I do offer like merchant licenses out, and I offer them as a monthly basis, so people can pick it up 1 month. I started doing that pre-COVID. So the reason why is everybody now calls it a side hustle. Like, what do people have for a side hustle? But what I wanted to do was that give those people that chance to make a little bit of money on the side, a little bit of extra hobby money, so they can just pick up a month. They can sell what they need to sell, and then they can continue on with a month, or they can drop it off for a month. So
Big Baddie says, my mini factory uses only... I had to read that twice, Dig. Only games?
Yeah, that's the button that you can push. The only
and I would
games.
highly recommend staying away from that service. I did one order and stuff arrived broken. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's good. Good to know when people have experience.
I can't talk to them because I don't know. I haven't used them. It sounds cheesy, but like I know people, like they've got a couple printers and they go, hey, can I pick up a license? You just go on my mini factory. I think I charge $25 for the month. You get the set of files that I offer for my Patreon for the month. It costs you $15 to print and sell things for that month. You get a little extra hobby money, and you're on your way. I know somebody that used it just to pay for his printer. So just little things like that to help out the community in different ways. Same idea. Someone said they did the bring in paints, which is amazing. We do the same sort of thing here. We ran a big event for Lord of the Rings the other day. I think I donated 30 houses to an event the other day. Just trying to build things in little ways.
Oh, that's great. Looking for my Agrax Earthshade. I can't find it. Here it is. Yeah, okay, great. That's thank you so much, Mark. That's a really exciting
It's a
project,
lot.
and it's obvious, you've done a lot of different projects, so this isn't your first rodeo. So the stuff you put out is obviously high quality, and the fact that you're doing it over and over and over again means people love it. And I love the fact that you just deliver quickly on a Kickstarter. I mean, that's just amazing. I don't think I've
Now,
ever.
I gotta be honest, it's not on all my Kickstarters. We did a Kickstarter that was called Tempest Hold. Tempest Hold was the biggest project we've ever done. It was the biggest my company's ever been. It was right before COVID. It was insane. We had at one point 14 sculptors. We had artists from Magic the Gathering working on it. It was such a huge project, and we wanted to publish a book for D&D to go with all the models. There was over 300 SDLs in the campaign. Um, then COVID struck and a whole bunch of other stuff struck, and we ran out of funds for the book. But that's one of the things we're still working on. So yes, we'll be quick on STLs, and we're always quick on the STLs and the sculpting part because it's a different part of what we do. The book ran out of money, but we're paying for the rest of it out of pocket. So that one is slow to do. We're not as slow as some other D&D books, but we're doing it right. So that one's a little hard to do on that one, but we're doing our best. We're gonna get there. We're not chinsing on the art. We're not chinsing on the writing. We're still working away on that one. So that one's coming up on 2 years. So it is a slow one. But like I said, we ran out of money, but we're getting it done.
Well, COVID messed up a lot of stuff. That's just the way it was, and that's something we had to live with, and that's okay. It happened.
Books and art are also very expensive.
I imagine. Okay. All right. Well, excellent. Well, thank you so much, Mark, for sharing that with us. If you want to check out that Kickstarter, you can do an !RMPrintable in chat and go out and check out that Kickstarter. I'm guessing there's a notify me when this Kickstarter goes live button on that page. I didn't even look for it.
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
I'll see if I can post the link again. Someone said that it's coming up in Chinese or in another language. It is for me too today. Right
It
now.
is?
I don't know
Hmm.
why. I don't know why. No idea.
Did I use the wrong link? Yeah, look at that. The link has got language ZH at the end of it.
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
That is
Maybe
not English.
maybe when I
Yeah, sorry. I did not mean to be offensive. It's in another language.
there you go.
Like I said, it was.
There's the link. I'm gonna change the command. I must have when I copied the link. I must have. I don't know how I would have gotten a different language in there, but that's
Yeah.
okay. I can fix it. It's easily fixable.
The pictures look great.
There we
Yeah,
go.
if
There's
I've
the
got an
link.
Instagram as well. It's really easy. It's just RMPrintable. You can see a lot of the test prints there. That's another. Again, you see a lot of my company was designed on pet peeves. One of the things I hated that was that people would always post these like beautiful renders and miniatures and models, but then you go to print them and it looks nothing like that, or you've got pockets or divots or poor support spots that you can't really get out or lost details. If you check out my Instagram or if you check out even the Facebook page, you can see I post all the time the test prints and what they actually look like. Because of that pet peeve. So if you look, you see like, oh, here's the render, but here's actually what it looks like right off the printer. I also don't do like a cleanup or a polish up or anything. I literally just take it off the printer and put it out there. If I do clean anything up, like I post that, hey, I've done this to clean it up, or hey, I've removed this. But again, sometimes I don't even glue them together. I just fit them together to show people like this is what you will pull off the printer. Because I think it's important. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else here knows exactly what I'm talking about, but like you see this mini, you buy this mini, you're like, oh, this is gonna look awesome. You print it, and half the details lost already. Even if you have the 8K resin printer, it just wasn't designed so that it would be crisp or clean. or you buy a different manufacturer and it's crisp and clean, but now you've kind of lost the style of it because they've had to change what they're doing. Right. So I make sure to post exactly what it's going to look like off your printer.
Very good.
The one that really kills me is when people do a 3D do a 3D render and then just make the STL without actually printing it. So it looks like it should print fine, but then it all kind of crumbles.
Yep, 100%. Exactly what I'm talking about. Drives me nuts.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
it's gonna look great. You print it, and it's just a pile of crap. You're like,
Yeah.
"Ugh."
Yeah, renders are definitely not the same thing, that's for sure. And you know. Otis, we stay down. Dog.
I wonder if Kickstarter is being weird or odd.
No, I
because
fixed
Danger
the
Gerbil also
link.
just said still got.
I actually had the wrong link in the when I copied and pasted it. So I fixed the link, so it should be working now.
All right, all good. I'm sure people can hit that translate button.
Okay, all right, great. Well, that's exciting news, and it's nice to have you come on the Council of Miniature Painters and talk about that. So we're going to shift over now and talk to our second guest. By the way, everybody, welcome into the Monster Den this evening. We have our Council of Miniature Painters tonight. So, hey, Runic, we got everybody in chat here. We just finished talking about the RMPrintable terrain Kickstarter that's coming, and it looks absolutely fantastic. I've been working on this little hay stall, which is really cool. I'm going to be using that for Moonstone personally. And welcome. So that's, if you have any questions for our guests, we're going to move on to our next guest, who you must all know at this point. Brent from Goobertown Hobbies is also here. It's our first two guest Council of Miniature Painters. This is our first two guests, so I have to point that out.
Brent who? I'm not familiar with his work.
or is it Bert? Is it Bert Mavers?
Bert Maver, there you go. That's a guy.
No.
That's a guy. Hey, you shaved your
Bert
mustache.
Mavers has he's got the full beard, that Bert Mavers. Yeah.
He's got the full beard and the cloak and everything. Okay. All right.
So is Bert Amish or what?
No, it's a full beard. It's not the
Oh, okay.
Amish do something. There's some sort of styling that goes on there. There's some sort of cropping. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna talk about Brent's and Casey's new project, Stampin Pads.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm thinking
That's right.
you guys need some kind of jingle for Stampin Pads. Something.
Oh. This project has taken so long and involved so many processes, and we didn't even talk about a jingle. Like, we didn't even, that's not even including a jingle, how many things we've had to do to get this off the ground. Well, thanks for having me on here. We're putting a lot of product placement into just one council meeting, but
yeah,
can it handle all that?
Oh, we can absolutely handle that. We can absolutely handle that because it's such an exciting project. When I listen to your podcast, Paint Bravely, which is an awesome podcast, by the way, everybody. It's perfect for my drive home from work because it finishes exactly in my drive. Yeah, when I heard about this product, I'm like, boy, those guys were working on some stuff in the background, which is awesome. So tell us the whys and how this got started, and go back to the beginning again, not to the dinosaurs, but to the beginning.
All right, to the beginning. So the point of this is to be an alternative to decals or an alternative to stencils. Both which are good tools that have things that they are well suited for, but they have drawbacks that we all know about. And so Casey and I had got to talking. We like doing the stupid batch painting challenges and all that stuff on YouTube, like the army painting kind of stuff. And we were trying to figure out a good way to do, Space Marine shoulder pads, essentially. So Space Marine shoulder pads, if you've tried to put a decal on there, the curvature makes it pretty annoying. It's like the one thing you really want to use a decal on to get the squad markings or chapter marking or whatever on there, but it can be a challenge to get a flat piece of plastic to take the curvature of a rounded shoulder pad. You gotta get all your solvents out and actually be good with them, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And so we got to talking about what if we decided on whatever our chapter is going to be, our Space Marine chapter, and we like 3D print a stamp for it. We get like a curved surface to the stamp, and with a little raised lip in there of whatever the symbol is going to be. And I don't know, maybe we come in with like Plastidip or something to rubberize it a little bit, and then kind of before each model we'll like ink up this custom stamp that we've made and slap it on the model. And we'd played around with that a little bit. We were in Blender trying some stuff. We couldn't quite get it to work. But then we heard about nail stamping from the cosmetics industry. People who paint their fingernails sometimes will also put stickers on their fingernails, or sometimes they will stamp them. And there's this whole process called pad printing. That has been one of the things that's been adapted for is nail stamping. And a fingernail is pretty much exactly the dimensions of a Space Marine shoulder pad or a shield on a knight or something like that. It's the size and shape that you want. And yeah, we were just I was in a hobby hangout with some of the Goobertown Hobbies folks, and Elma was the name of the person who mentioned that they weren't doing hobby that night. Not exactly. They were stamping their nails, and basically said, "Wait, you're doing what? Tell me about this. Tell me more about this." And so I learned about the whole wide world of nail stamping, and basically learned that yeah, there's got to be a way to adapt this to the miniature hobby. And so I'm not at my my proper work desk here, but what we're talking about are these etched steel plates that have designs on them. Where did I pick up? I picked up the ancient plate. So we've got some Greek on there and some Roman lettering and stuff like that. Some laurels, crossed weapons. Anyway, um, the idea is you take this plate and you paint on some specialty. It is just a specialty nail polish.
Mm.
And you paint that on to the etched design, scrape away the excess, and then you can come in with this stamper, which has it's just a silicone stamper head here, which is soft and squishy and just a little bit sticky. And you got to work fast, but you come in, you pick up the design that you inked, and then you go and put it on the miniature. So it's a clear bit of silicone, so you can aim down the barrel and line it up pretty well with what you're doing. So this is an alternative to decals or stencils or just freehanding with actual skill with a paintbrush. And to get this technique to work well, you have to go fast. So the paint dries quickly, and so you'll get the best results if you just work very quickly. And essentially, it takes like 15 seconds to do the whole stamping process, and then another 20 seconds to clean up afterwards. But to get it to work, you got to go fast, and it ends up being a very efficient way to put designs onto miniatures.
Wow. Quantum Reveries asks, how opaque is the nail polish? Will white yellow show up well on a dark background?
The white's actually quite opaque. So Like I said, this is specialty nail polish. It's nail polish which has been designed for stamping. We are launching with only a total of 4 colors. So we don't want to be like a paint company. We want to be selling these plates with the cool designs on them. So the 4 colors we're launching with are black, white, off-white, like light gray, and red, as being just kind of the most common colors that you'd want to do heraldry with or something like that. The white actually gives access to a whole lot more colors because you can glaze, you can stamp your design with white, and then you can glaze over with contrast paint or speed paint, ink, something like that. Or the again, this is coming from the cosmetics world. You can go to a cosmetics company and buy whatever color stamping nail polish you want, with or without glitter. There's with or without pearlescent jiggly bits in there. But
so you can use.
But we wanted to start off
any nail polish, or is it a certain type of nail polish?
Special kinds.
Okay.
So this is the kind of nail polish that's essentially organic-based paint, like a organic solvent-based paint is what this is. This is not the kind of nail polish that does UV curing. This is the kind of nail polish that is similar to like an enamel paint. Has some similarities there. So it does need to be a special kind of nail polish, but there are companies out there that sell this, and they are perfectly willing to warehouse hundreds of different colors, and so you can go and pick if there's a color you really want. But we again, we are just launching this company. This is our first time trying to have a company and be business people and have a business and sell products. So we wanted to start small with just, all right, we got 4 colors. These are going to be the most useful. If you want to go outside that, we'll tell you where to go. But also, we do intend to expand going forward. So we're launching with a total of 10 of these plates with different designs on them. And so let's see if I can do them from memory here. We're the launch with a starter box that has 2 plates that's going to have Heraldry 001 and Squad Markings 001. Also in the first batch is going to be sold separately, is pick up whichever ones you want, but Heraldry 002, Ancients, Feral, which is kind of orky. There's Elements, which has, fire and lightning and stuff on there. We've got Industrial, and we've got Zambies. Our first artist plate is coming from Zambies, who actually did the art on many of the designs spread across these plates was actually done by Zambies. There are some leaves, there are some laurels. Part of what we did is also make some designs that you can kind of mix and match. So, all right, so here on Heraldry 001, I'll see if my camera will pick it up or not. But there's a couple of laurel patterns here at the top, which is kind of a wreath of leaves with an open center area there. So if you want, you could kind of make your custom symbol by picking any of the others and putting it inside the laurels. But if there is an interest in specific things, if we've got some leaves fans out there, that gives us a good start on thinking about what the future waves of Stampin' Plates from Goblin Hobbies is going to be here. So the intention is that we're launching with these 10 plates worth of designs, and from there we're going to see what people are most interested in. We're going to pull in other artists to make more bespoke plates, and kind of see where we can go with it.
Big Batty asked if is there any reactivation. I think in the podcast you said the stuff dries like instantly, like really fast.
Right. So Essentially, no. You can definitely paint over it with acrylic paint. Half an hour later or whatnot. Honestly, probably like 10 minutes later. It dries faster than water-based acrylic paint. Yeah, like if you're concerned about anything, you can varnish it, but we've been doing a lot of stuff without varnishing it, and it's been fine. Good question though. Got a question about possible to go down to the 15 millimeter scale. So the smaller the designs are, the faster the paint dries, and so the faster you have to work. But we've been pretty impressed with how small and how detailed we can do these things. So, some of the designs are meant to be recognizable on like a shield at 28 millimeter scale or something like that. But we also have a lot of designs that are more patterns and a lot of smaller stuff. And then we go all the way down to like tiny scripts. Here's a good one. This is Squad Barkings 01. So this is in the starter set, but we'll have blocks of just, cursive script or something like that. And that is very, very tiny. And there are no discernible words there. But you can stamp that on and make a real looking book or scroll or purity seal or something like that. And the smaller these little etchings are, the more likely it is that you'll lose a little piece of detail. But a lot of those scribbles will come through exactly as they're etched there onto that plate. Very, very, very tiny. Yeah. The reflection makes this hard for you to see what's going on. That's
that's neat.
one of the problems with steel plates that we didn't think about necessarily is how reflective they'd be when we got the cameras and lights out.
So, like, one thing I saw was the checkerboard pattern, which is, awesome. When I did Doctor Strange for Adepticon, I had to do the checkerboard pattern all by hand. If you were going to do a larger area, is it easy to line up like one to the next using that clear stamping pad? Can you kind of see the previous one if you were going to line it up?
So yes, I think that's still going to be a tricky operation if you stamp checkerboard and then try to perfectly stamp an adjacent checkerboard. Doable, but a little bit tricky. So these silicone stampers are clear, and you can sight down them, and you can use them as a scope to target right in there. But even so, I bet you'll have a 50-50 actually lining up your checkers as well as you want them to. So that is something that if there ends up being, so there are like small sections, like maybe a total of a square inch or so of checkerboard patterns in various sizes of checkers spread across these plates. If it ends up being interest in just a big old chunk of checkerboard, we can look into making that too. But we think for shields and stuff like that, people are going to get a lot of use out of just this smaller surface area worth.
Pretty neat. Yeah, when you were doing it during the talking about it during the podcast or Paint Bravely, I was trying to picture the tool that you said you used, that it was clear, and I'm like, oh, now it totally makes sense that you can sight right down it.
Yep. Yeah, so it's just a little chunk of squishy jelly silicone here, and it sits in this plastic handle, and that's what it looks like. Just a squishy, bendy, flexy, and so it actually does conform to gentle curves pretty well. So if you don't, I mean, Space Marine shoulder pad is the perfect use. Is that you can squish down with the silicone and it'll bend around the surface of that curve and put the design down in a curve. So that's we kind of answered that one goal of, all right, what's another way of decorating a Space Marine? But then we got to thinking, and there's just so many other things that you can do with this. Again, the basics are squad markings and heraldry. But beyond that, I mean, put tavern signs up and wanted posters and bloody handprints or footprints on terrain, or
Oh
there's
man, I was just thinking about that. Wanted posters for Western terrain, or graffiti, like graffiti marks,
graffiti
or
for
oh
sure.
my
Yep.
goodness, yeah. People are saying
We've
cyberpunk.
got yep.
Uh,
So we've got an
Battletech.
industrial plate with all of the caution stripes, and then the actual caution symbols like radioactive, biohazard, danger, high voltage, all that kind of stuff. So we have already come up with a lot of cool ideas and put them in the first wave, but what we're really excited to see is how people end up using them, what combinations of things that people use. Like I said, we're starting off selling, kind of relabeled nail polish as the paint for these things. But I think we put this out into the world, people are going to get excited. They're going to start experimenting. They're going to figure out some new stuff. So Casey and I have figured out this technique pretty well and gotten it to the point where I think it's something that is worth your time to try out. But we are really excited to see just where it runs to when it gets into other folks' hands.
Can you show us a sample of something that you've stamped? Or
Sure.
can you stamp something? Or no? People are asking if you can stamp something.
Yeah, I don't have a video set up for that right here. But here's all right. So in other news, if you go to goblinhobbies.com, there are some more examples on goblinhobbies.com. And also, there are 4 free STL downloads of the sibling goblins who are the mascots for this company. So we have we've got Nugget is the annoying little brother, and Elma is the older sister, and those are the 2 goblins that are Goblin Hobbies in our logo and everything. And essentially we've got a couple of minis that have some decent flat areas for you to try stamping on, and I apologize about my webcam going, but they've got shields and a chainsaw, and they've got shoulder pads, and Elma has a briefcase, a lot of nice stampable areas, and so we've been working on some examples there, but goblinhobbies.com will have better photography of what you can actually do with this stuff.
All right. Very, very cool. So you said
Quantum had a question?
Go ahead, Quantum.
Yeah.
Quantum wanted to know if you have any plans of cross-selling the Stampin Pads back to nail art people.
I suspect that there will be some interest. I mean, the point of these is to have essentially the nail plates, but with designs that our kind of people like. More skulls and Viking ships and all that kind of stuff. And perusing the various cosmetic sites seems to be a lot more teddy bears and stuff on those plates. I don't know. But yes, I think people absolutely will be doing their nails with Goblin Hobby stamping plates.
Yeah, that it seems so obvious now to go back the other way and say, oh, I can have an orc skull on my nail now instead of all the other things that are out there. I mean, that's a neat idea.
The ferrule plate has some good options for orky looking skulls.
Yeah, Space Marine chapter nails.
Mm-hmm. Or symbols that are compatible with Space Marine chapters, you might say. Yeah. Got Some
Kind of
companies
excellent
own
if you
certain
do it by
symbols,
mail.
but they don't own certain other Greek alphabet letters. And
That's what you should be doing in your booth. Mrs. Miara's got it. In your booth at Adepticon, stamp people's nails.
we can do that. Yeah, so that's the other piece of this story. Thanks for reminding me. Casey and I will be at Adepticon. We're sharing a little bit of the Trenchworks booth. So we'll be piled in there with Dave from Trenchworks. Knuckle Duster Games will be there. Res Nova with Warzone Eternal will be close by. I think actually tucked in that booth will also be Victoria or Victoria Miniatures.
Who won't be in that booth?
It's going to be a tight booth. We might have to take turns, but if there's room, we'd love to have guests, and Casey and I will be there demoing these Stampin' Plates there. We were hoping to be able to sell it at Adepticon, but it looks like we'll just be a little too late for that. But this has been a long journey, about 2 years of us, between us having the idea to figuring out how to make it real to be right on the cusp of actually selling this stuff. So we're excited. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
This is great. It's not very often that something new comes out that, you know, captures a lot of attention. And in miniature painting, you know, there's more paints and there's more brushes and there's more of the same things, but this is really different. This is really different.
That's what kind of why we knew we had to do it. So we'd been talking about maybe making stamps or something, and then I learned about nail stamps, which apparently had already existed for decades. But yeah, nobody had really applied it to miniatures yet. In the last couple of years, there have been a few people like on Instagram nibbling around the edges a little bit. So you may have seen the idea of nail stamps on miniatures a little bit, but not a ton. And so we've been working in secret to make this a reality for people like us.
Bench Guy wants to know if you're wearing a Hawaiian Punch t-shirt.
I am. I low key tried to show it off to Bench Guy earlier.
I love it.
Yeah. Dig Batty is asking about IP infringement. I mean, we're careful not to use things that obviously belong to somebody else. But when it comes to historical symbols, generic symbols, original symbols that we've made, yeah, we're putting it on the plates, and there's going to be a lot of cool stuff for people.
I have a question, Brent.
Yeah.
Is there anything in the future for a set of Free Willy stencils?
Ooh. Man, we've got crabs, we've got a lobster, we've got a squid.
Because I know you got those cards now. I mean, come on, dude.
Oh, right. We don't have any whales. The closest thing we've got an anglerfish. That's pretty good. But no, there's a future where maybe Elements 02 will have whales and sharks. I don't know. We'll see.
I have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
First one is, are you going to have an extra plate that you can slip to edit Adepticon?
No.
And the second question is there any truth to the rumor that I just made up that you guys are planning an expansion for these Stampin' Plates for mature adult images for doing terrain graffiti?
Yes, Zambies did make a plate for us. The Zambies plate has a butt, vampire, pizza, a mushroom. The Zambies plate is what you're after.
The Zambies.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we got a question about price, and so the sales have not gone live, and so this is not 100%. There'll be discounts for kits and stuff, but the price of a steel plate is looking at $16 is what we're looking at. Yep. which is a little bit more expensive than if you were doing it for nails, but there's a hobby tax on things, and we would like to be making enough money so that we're successful and can continue to make more things. Wow.
That's for a lifetime of stamping, right? Do they wear? They don't. I'm assuming they don't wear out or anything.
So the steel is very durable. I did try putting them in a salt water bath and leaving it under the sink for a month to see if it rusted or anything, and no, like the steel, unless you gum up the etchings with epoxy or something, the plates you're gonna have forever. So if you have a symbol or a piece of heraldry or something that you really want for your collection, you buy the plate, you'll have that forever. The consumables are, of course, the paint, and then the silicone stampers you have to be a little bit careful with, because if you jam this into a spiky bit, you can get a tear in the silicone, and you'll have to buy a new stamper. But the plate themselves, they will last forever. Yeah. And when it comes to the tools and stuff, we will not be offended if folks are kind of resupplying from various cosmetic industries, trying other things, experimenting, figuring out like the coolest ways to use these stamps. So we will be selling, stampers and a couple of colors of the Stampin' color, but we will not be offended if folks are going outside of that to learn more.
Yeah,
I just hope that you get ahead of this before all the imitators start.
I hear you. Thank you. Yeah. So I think we've won the race to announcement, and we are working hard to get availability America first, and then direct sales to other places after America. We're working hard to find the correct fulfillment partners in other parts of the world. But yes, I think this is a good idea. I think there will be other companies attempting to do something similar. Actually heard from a friend in the community that they'd kind of been developing something similar. And I hope they continue with it because I think there is room for multiple companies to be selling plates. Competition's a good thing. You guys having more options for designs to put on things a good thing. Having more people creating tutorials about this technique is a good thing. I should say there is a little bit of a knack to it, and the biggest part of the knack is just working fast. But in order to get a good pickup of the design and then apply it where you want it, takes a little bit of dexterity is not the right word, but self-confidence to move quickly through the process. And once you get it, that's a skill that you have, and you can stamp things. But there is a learning curve that's probably half an hour, maybe a full hour of just kind of frustrating when you're working too slow and you're not able to pick up the design quite right. What is this pile of junk that I just bought? I just want to assure you that once you get past the learning curve, it's all good. But the point is that I think there probably will be other companies putting this out. Green Stuff World might be one of them. We are glad that we at least beat them to the punch on this. But yeah, if there are more companies out there helping to educate people on just how this technique works, I mean, with anything in mini painting, there's a skill involved. You can learn that skill. But yeah, we're just a little bit worried about the first half hour of people playing with these, and we've got some good tutorials in the works to get people over that hump. But honestly, having other companies out there selling similar products, putting out similar tutorials, I think would be a good thing in the long run. Yeah. So yeah, Green Stuff World. You might be able to get Green Stuff World Stampin' Plates at some point. Yep. Keep on building your collection. Go for it. Yeah.
Well, we'll all know where the originators, or who the originators are. That's getting out there first, and obviously you guys are are well known in the YouTube community, so everybody will know, you know, who got there first, and you know, I think you guys will have a great product. It's going to be a lot of fun. Chaotic Painting says, you know, just wait till the hobby community gets a hold of this and starts coming up with all kinds of neat ways of using it. Oh, it's going to be amazing.
Yes, exactly.
Well, this is one of the few communities
Casey and
I know that, you know, feedback is always given freely, and they're always bringing it back to the manufacturer instead of just hiding it away. So I think you're going to get an awful lot of feedback.
Yep, and it may be things like the design of this was bad, or maybe the community much prefers a different design of the actual stamper, or something like that. You know, we're very excited to see what improvements the community comes back with. Yeah, for sure.
Somebody earlier asked how
clever ways of doing this.
How deep of a surface? So the stamp is silicone. So so how much of a how much of a surface can you do? Like a 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch, or you know what kind of relief does it have?
The kind of width or the kind of depth?
The depth, I think,
curvature
is the question. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, not infinite, but more than you might think. Like if your model has a cape or something like that, I mean, not the deepest folds, but like a wavy cape would work fine. Some of this is just experimenting, but the silicone itself has more give than you think it does, and it's able to do more of a bumpy, uneven surface than you might think.
Neat.
So Brent, some questions. How do you go about cleaning the silicone piece and the stencils? I mean, what's the procedure on that?
Perfect question. The steel plates themselves, cleaned with acetone and a bit of paper towel or like a cotton makeup remover pad. And the silicone, actually, the best way to clean that is just a piece of tape, like Scotch tape or packing tape, or a lint roller also works great. Of just you're pulling lint and hair and any remnants of dried paint off of the stamper head. We found that sometimes for a brand new stamper head, like from the factory, there might just be a little bit of oil on the surface, and so just a quick, gentle pass with a little bit of acetone on a rag might be useful there. But yeah, that one thing we are not selling is acetone. You're gonna have to buy that for yourself at the hardware store.
Yeah, I think that'd be a little difficult to ship.
Yeah. I mean, we're already, trying to work through the problems of just the nail polish itself, or the Stampin' colors are flammable. They're solvent-based paints, and so just a matter of putting the right labels on the box. But yeah, it becomes those are the hard things to ship. The steel plates are not so hard.
Ellie is asking, can you use any acrylic painters that do a special formula only?
Regular acrylic paint, you're not gonna have great results with. I mean, we are excited for people to try stuff. We are hopeful that somebody is get a bee in their bonnet and just spend 8 hours on a Saturday figuring out how to make regular acrylic paint work or pro acryl work or whatnot. But
so on the acrylics, are you getting like a pucker factor, like a pull away, like a pucker factor, or are you getting something where it's running? Or
so it just doesn't pick up the way that I've actually spent very little time with it at all. Casey has spent more time than I have experimenting with wrong ways to do this. So instead, but the way this works is, you're putting paint onto the steel, and then the stickiness needs to be such that the silicone stamper will pull it off of the steel. And then when you go and put it onto a painted mini, that it then needs to transfer the top coat of the painted mini. And so there's definitely like a balancing act in terms of the formulation of the paints to make this actually work. And luckily, the cosmetics industry has gotten a great starting point for how to do that. Unfortunate that what they settled on is flammable, but if the first wave of customers is able to figure out some alternatives.
Excellent.
How many color options are going to be available? Chaotic Painting is asking.
Yep, to start with, just 4. Black, white, off-white, which is what you want to use if you want to mimic white, and red. So kind of the most common colors that you'd see on a decal sheet is what we're starting with. And as we expand, I mean, we may get people really clamoring for yellow or green or something like that. But in the meantime, one of the things that you can do with the white is a pure white. It's got good opacity, and so you can stamp on a design with white, and then depending on what the other colors are around it, you can glaze over with ink or contrast paint or speed paint, something like that, to access the other colors. But also, this is essentially a specialized type of nail polish, and so if you really want another color right now, you can go and get yourself some gold if that's what you want. Yep. And we also had a question: can we get like our own custom designs on these? And the answer is no. That we don't want to be like having you design a plate and then we sell you one copy of something. But we are trying to figure out the best system for kind of taking suggestions. And we want to be really careful that whatever system we have for taking suggestions doesn't let people just quietly slip in pieces of IP that we don't recognize or something like that. But we do want feedback and suggestions. We'd want to know what people would really like to have on a stamping plate, and so we're absolutely going to be taking that feedback. And if your suggestion is good enough, then we'll make sure that we can sell that to hundreds of people. So
yeah, excellent. Wow, exciting stuff. Exciting stuff.
Yep.
Just in time to at least talk about it at Adepticon. So even though you won't be able to sell anything at
be
Adepticon,
there.
but
I think we're all on this call in our lead up to Adepticon, except for the couple of folks who not this year.
Yeah, no kidding.
We'll see you
It's
next
like,
year, kid.
What, a week and a half till
I hope
opening
so.
day? So week and a half
I
to
got a
opening
good feeling
day.
about 2026, kid. Yeah.
Good feeling. Good. Excellent. Does anybody have any more questions for Brent before we move on to our fun topic of the council and before we call it a night? I know Belly said he'd love to see a gold. Yeah, you said yellow is going to be available, but that's yellow versus gold, which, yeah, I could see gold being...
We'll see what the demand is for.
Being a popular color.
So essentially, right now, you could go and buy a Goblin Hobbies plate and then go to nail company and buy their stamping nail polish gold, and that would be essentially the same thing. But if the only reason we're selling paint is to make it as easy as possible for folks to get started with this. The actual product that we're the most interested in, at least at this point, is the actual plates filled with designs. But we're gonna sell just enough options for the stampers, the scrapers, and the paint itself to be able for folks to get started.
It won't be long before somebody says, get this brand at Ulta or whatever, and it'll work great. It won't be long. I guarantee it in the first couple weeks, somebody will say this works great. So, and the pad, it's all about the pads. It's all about those designs that nobody else has made, right? That's really what it's about. So. Awesome.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Brent.
Well, thanks. No, thank you for letting me shill here. It's good talk. Good talk.
It's an exciting product. We wanted to hear about it. When I heard the Paint Bravely when you talking about it, I'm like, oh, we got to have you on talking about that and set it up. So appreciate that Painterly getting Brent to come by and talk about that. And Sir will hear more about it at Adepticon. I think it's going to be a big talk at Adepticon too. So that's going to be really cool. So excellent. So our last topic of the evening is something we always like to do that's always just fun. So the question of the night that everybody has to answer is, if you were an animal, what animal would you be and why? So since Brent's on the screen, I'm gonna have Brent answer this question first.
Man, the first animal that popped in my head was a penguin, but I don't know why. It feels right though.
It just says it feels right. Okay.
Yeah, penguin. Final answer.
Penguin. Good answer.
Lock it in.
It's a little cold for me, penguin, but you know, sounds cold. Being from Wisconsin, I want to be warm. Well, you're Maine, you're cold too, so.
That's right.
Anyway, okay, all right. So let's go back to Mr. Wapple. Since your screen popped up, what animal would you be and why?
Long ago, I was already assigned a spirit animal. That would be a raccoon. And probably you'll be totally shocked that it was assigned to me because of the nocturnal nature of raccoons.
Alright.
Since daylight is pretty much alien to me, that giant death orb in the sky, I'm not really sure what it's doing there. Yeah, that's because the raccoon, he just kind of hides there in the shadows and he does his little work. And also too, the raccoon pretty much scavenges for anything, and originally known as the MacGyver of miniature painting before this whole oil painting thing started out. It's like I could take a raisin, a piece of tape, and some floor lint and make it into a plinth, and then have a miniature mounted on it. So raccoons, they're pretty good at scavenging stuff and finding stuff and little treasures in garbage cans. I've maybe raided a garbage can once or twice for terrain supplies. Cannot confirm or deny that. So raccoon is to the point where people have actually gotten me stuffed raccoons and mugs with raccoons on them.
Wow. That's great. Awesome. Okay. Painterly Git, what's your answer?
Well, I would have to say if I were any kind of animal, I'd either be Boris the animal from Men in Black 3 or Animal the Muppet. Both of them are kind of loud, and yeah, I think that I would be Boris the animal or Animal the Muppet.
Animal the Muppet. I like that one. All right. Excellent. All right, let's go to Heavy T. I got you up here on the screen next.
Mine's pretty simple. I'd be a black bear. I grew up at the foothills of the North Georgia Blue Ridge Mountains, and I think it's one of the most beautiful places in the whole world. And if I could live amongst those streams and pines for the rest of my life and stay on the side of that mountain, I would. It's one of my favorite places. And, yeah, that's what I'd be.
Awesome. Good answer. All right, Blades. Blades. Oh, there you go.
Mine's boring. I'd probably just be a bird, just because I can get places fast.
Good answer.
All right, that's a practical answer.
Awesome
It's
answer.
okay. It's okay to have a practical answer.
Short, sweet, and to the point.
That's great.
Good job.
All right, so Black Skull.
Well, not to rain on Git's parade. For about a year and a half in college, when I was drumming for a semi-punk band, I had picked up the nickname of Animal just because of the extreme motions and screaming and yelling that happened behind the drum set while I was on stage. But
Long live punk.
huh?
That's a long live punk.
Yep, long live punk. God save the Queen. So, but I was thinking about it, and I think at the end of the day, I think I'd like to be a cat. Kind of independent. I go my own way. Not always doing things the the standard original way. Get to lie in the sun a lot, on the floor and eat when you like, and just kind of, have a small circle of people that you, kind of deal with. So I think cat probably at the end of the day is where I've come to.
And you can lick yourself wherever you need to.
That's right. You just slink your way in, and
lick yourself wherever you need.
Oh, by the way, and as a cat, you have plenty of cat litter to use for base terrain.
For basing. All right, awesome. All right, we're gonna go to Mark. RMPrintable.
Yeah, all right. So I asked the wife what animal she thought I should be, and she shared with me that a manatee is my animal of calling. Just kind of float around and kind of hang out. I got no natural predators. I like to hold on to stuff and get hugs and just kind of love and live life. So a manatee is what animal I would be.
That's good. That's a good answer. That's awesome. All right, who do we have left in the gallery down here? Let's see. Where is the gallery? Do we have anybody left in the gallery?
No, I'm not here at all.
Oh, Tony's there. Why aren't you guys coming up on the screen? I don't know where Falling Freely went. Tony, what animal?
I'd like to say a beaver, because I like making things out of wood, and I like the idea of making mental 12-year-olds chuckle every time I get mentioned.
Awesome. That's good.
Now, I got to ask a quick question here. What type of beaver would you be? Because our neighbor has a Christmas beaver that he puts out every Christmas that lights up and holds a Christmas package. Would you be a beaver with a present or just a regular dam builder one?
I'd be making. I'd be a beaver who makes plinths for mini painters. How about that?
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Awesome.
Our local university here, no, this is no joke, they are the Minot State Beavers. So the ladies volleyball team has a lot of problems because of all the snickering that goes on, but
No, say it ain't so.
My high school team was the Trojans, and our gym was named the Trojan Dome.
perhaps if we built this large wooden badger.
So I guess that leaves me to answer. It leaves me to answer the question. So, I collected bald eagles when I was a kid, and since I'm bald, I'd have to go with the bald eagle. And my mom was an oil painter, a canvas oil painter, and she painted for me one of the most beautiful eagle busts that I still have it to this day. And so I'd have to pick the bald eagle.
Ed, you also kind of look a little bit like Sam from the Muppet Show.
Well, I'm not blue though.
No, not yet.
Okay, not yet. Okay.
You
well,
people
awesome.
are all sick.
All sick.
Only mentally.
That's why we formed this council. But anywho, so we got one more thing to talk about that I forgot to talk about, and that is the Tony, why don't you talk about your big Adepticon fundraising event that's going to be happening?
Yeah. So the Dragonfall Charitable Foundation is hosting a Friday night after party at X-Ray Arcade. There will be food, there will be drink. They're making us a signature cocktail. It's to raise funds for the Charity Foundation and awareness for our convention at X-Ray Arcade. You can buy tickets in advance. They're $15 a pop in advance. They're $20 at the door. It's a concert at X-Ray Arcade featuring Slaughter Party, The Eradicator, and the Goth Rockers. So it's going to be a good time. I'm going to be there. The whole cast and crew are going to be going. we would love to have you out. Doors open at 7:30. Show starts at 8:30. Yeah, we'd love to have you guys come hang out with us.
And what kind of music are these groups?
Well, the Goth Rockers are orc metal.
Orc.
So, Big and Green, the Goth Rockers are on a never-ending tour of the cosmos. When their rock crash landed on planet Earth, they emerged ready to jam and scrap. Get ready, puny humans, for they have arrived. It's going to be loud. It's going to be fast. It's going to be awesome.
Great. That sounds great. And where is that from Adepticon? Is that like I'm assuming that's
it's
an
about
Uber ride away or something?
The venue is about 15 minutes away. It's at X-Ray Arcade. We were trying to get some shuttle buses, but they proved to be wildly expensive and way outside of the range of what we. Basically, we wouldn't raise any money if we ran a shuttle.
Oh, bummer.
Unfortunately, but yeah, it's about a 15-minute ride from the convention center.
And if you get your tickets in advance, that's going to cover the Uber ride anyway. If you get your tickets in advance.
Yeah, exactly. So
great.
Yeah, I got a couple of people here I need to talk about this show. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, we're using it to raise awareness for the Dragonfall Convention, which happens in October, Lake Geneva. Unfortunately for us, Las Vegas Open decided to change their dates for next year and moved it to exactly across from us. So we are going to be in competition for instructors and attendees with Las Vegas Open. The good news is Dan Dougal, Lila Mev, and our very own Monster Den Minis have all confirmed to me that they will be with us this year. So we'll have a good lineup. We're looking to announce some more at Adepticon. So come to our show, come and party with us, and then come out and hang with us in Lake Geneva in October.
Absolutely, it's a great show. It's a Dragonfall. First time I attended last year. I love the feel of Dragonfall. It's a much, you actually get to sit down and Adepticon is awesome, but it's so much going on, so many things there, so many people to talk to. You feel like you're going crazy. Dragonfall, you can slow down a little bit and actually get to talk to people one-on-one. And it's I talked to Uncle Adam when I was there. I talked to Lila, Jamie Daggers, Awkwardish Panda. Yeah, everybody was there, and it was great to really get to talk to people. Of course, we'd like to see it get as big as Adepticon, but while it's still small, it's a nice close knit community driven kind of show. So it's really great.
And I run the hobby programming for the show, and for those of you who don't know, and I am also the one responsible for the Dragon Slayer painting exhibition. We do not believe in competition in art at our show. We believe in everybody coming and exhibiting the pieces that they're proud of.
I like that.
It's one of the things that I treasure about this show is my ability to have that kind of an impact, because we focus so much on painting competitions, and everybody has to paint the right way in order to gain any sort of recognition, and that's just not what we're about. We want to see people be creative. We want to see people put out work that they're proud of, that doesn't necessarily conform to the heavy metal style, or not everybody needs to be an Italian Renaissance painter on their minis. We want to welcome that and celebrate that.
So does that mean that it's not the models would not also be limited to, say, 40K or AOS or things like that?
Absolutely not. We are 100% open. The medals are awarded. We have gold, silver, and copper, because dragons don't hoard bronze; they hoard copper. But they are awarded based on each piece's own merit in one of 7 categories. One thing we do that's kind of unique too is our Army category. You can only enter an Army into the Army category if it is being played that weekend. You can't just bring an Army in and drop it on the table. What else? What else can I tell you about Dragonfall? This is year 11. Last year we managed to raise $7,000 for. There were 3 different charities. I know one of them was Doctors Without Borders. I
Yes.
think we did the Trevor Project this year as well.
Good.
But yeah, we are 100% volunteer driven and charity driven.
Excellent.
Hell yeah.
Excellent.
Are you
Wow.
doing an artist alley again this year?
Yes. Yep. We're hoping that our good friend Falling Freely will come back and participate as a member of Artist Alley again.
And what about people
We're
like
also
Brunich
yeah.
that
This
do,
year
like,
we're
weather
growing. We're
work
expanding. We're expanding. I'd love to sit down and just have a whole conversation about all of this, but I don't want to bogart this particular conversation.
All right. Excellent. When does Warp Drive Dude ask, when does registration open for Dragonfall?
It's actually going to open next weekend. I think we're opening it up either Thursday or Friday so that we can start registration at GaryCon this coming weekend and then have it available while we're at Adepticon.
And is that just like badge registration? That's not class registration yet, right?
Class registration, we're not going to open up for probably, I haven't locked down all of the instructors yet. So I'm waiting to hear back from a couple of people, and then we'll be reaching out and setting up all the classes. I'm hoping in the next 30 days to have the classes up. Registration is going to open up this weekend for badges. The hotel link will be live at that point as well. And I believe we're opening up the Age of Sigmar tournament because that's our biggest turnout. I think last year we had 110 players just in that event. Our Age of Sigmar volunteers are absolutely amazing. And then we're going to be taking in role-playing RPG DMs to be able to suggest and offer up games. So right now, the events will be limited, but after that, yeah.
Great. Excellent. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you all so much for, I know we knew we were going to go over a little bit today because we had 2 special guests, and I appreciate everybody coming out. A special thank you to our 2 special guests, Mark from RMPrintable and Brent from Goobertown Hobbies, here to talk about their projects. So exciting to hear so many cool things going on out.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me. Huh?
Yeah. Anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime. You're both.
We'll see everybody in 2 weeks.
Yeah, always welcome, and we'll see you guys at Adepticon, who's going to be there. So, yeah, that's awesome. Wow, so that's another
Very soon.
Council of Miniature Painters in the can. So, I appreciate it again, and thanks to all of our normal members here, Tony and
Thank you.
Painterly Git and Blades and Black Skull, and I know Quandam wasn't in chat, but he was in talking, but he was in chat, and Heavy T. Thank you all guys for coming out and joining us here for a wonderful hobby conversation in real time. So I appreciate it again. So I'm going to cut over. If you want to stick around, we're going to play Marbles on stream first thing right when we get back into the Monster Den. So be sure to hang around for that. So again, thank you all. We shall see those of you who are going to be at Adepticon. Be sure to stop by and say hi to all these great people, and stickers and all kinds of other fun things that we're going to do at Adepticon. So, all right. All right, take care.
Just a
Take care,
reminder,
everyone.
too, before we cut off,
Yeah.
I will be streaming the Paint and Pass all weekend long at Adepticon. So if you can't be there in person, you can be there in spirit.
Yes, that's a great point, Tony. I will post on Discord the link for that, and I'll be sure to announce when I'm sitting at the booth along with everybody else too. So,
Oh, right on.
sitting there doing the painting. It's gonna feel so different though in the new venue this year. So
Oh,
it's gonna
I'm
feel so
curious.
different. Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, thanks again, and we'll see you over in the Monster Den. We're gonna play marbles on stream first thing. So you guys take care, and again, thank you all for joining.
Peace.
Thanks, Ed.
Cheers. All right, everybody. We're gonna head back to the den here quick, and then we're gonna play some marbles. So we'll get this show on the road. We've already been on the road. Now we're just going back to now for your regularly scheduled program. That was the special report with RMPrintable and Brent from Goobertown Hobbies and the rest of the gang. What a great conversation. I'm more excited after that conversation for Adepticon again. You know, it's gonna be it's the mecca. It's the mecca event of our hobby. And even though it's at a new venue, it's kind of like a new and exciting thing, you know, because it's at a new venue. So it's it's definitely, it's coming up, man. Wow, like what, a week and 3 days, a week and 2 days. Preempted the Love Boat. Oh man, how about reruns of Gilligan's Island? The one with the boat.